folks. How you doing? Welcome to Guitar Daily. It's Nick Granville coming to you from Wellington, New Zealand. So, just got back to Wellington. We've been away for the weekend. Had a 5-year-old's birthday party to go to yesterday. My cousin's boy, Gray. So that was really cool. Nice to catch up with family. Didn't take a guitar, didn't bother. It's funny. Get back and all of a sudden you're like, where's all my fingers gone? And it's interesting because whenever that happens, if I take a break, I actually quite like taking a break every so often. Just like not even thinking about guitar. But you sort of see things differently when you come back to it. How's everybody doing? Hope the audio's coming through well. Please let me know if it's not. Please let me know if it is. I kind of been thinking about this guitar actually. I got this gig in a couple of weeks coming up in Christchurch, and I'm kind of working out what gear to take and how to do this because you got to fly down, and for those not from New Zealand, you're probably not aware that how New Zealand works. You can't carry guitars on planes in New Zealand. You just can't. You might get away with it once out of every 20 times you try and fly, so it's not even worth it. Case in point, my buddy Pick Funk, who when he came out here, Eric Smith, he came out here to play with Layla Hathaway when we did that gig with Layla, and had to check his bass, and he was like, this is why I don't carry my flash bass, just brings like a whatever, this kind of travel one, but yeah, he couldn't carry it on the plane. Mike Stern, when we did that tour with Mike Stern, Mike couldn't carry his guitar on the plane. He had to check it, and he's part of the Million Mile Club or whatever it is, he does. So for me, it's kind of, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking maybe what I should do with this guitar is get this replaced and have machine bolts, and then have threaded inserts like Julian Lage does with his Telecasters. That way you can just unscrew the neck, and if you keep unscrewing it and screwing it in as it is with the current screws, it's just going to thread the wood inside and it's not going to grip, right? But if you put threaded inserts in there, which are metal inserts, then you're screwing bolts into it and take it on and off as often as you want. And that's what Julian Lage does with his Telecaster apparently. Then this could go in a backpack. The neck could go inside like a kind of a rod tube that you stick in the backpack, and then you get a whole guitar in there, and you fit it on any plane anywhere in the world. That's probably what I'm going to do when I go to the NAMM show next year, is just do that with one of my guitars, because I really don't want to be dealing with a flight case when I get over there. I'll be over there in January. If anyone's around in LA at the NAMM show, then let me know. We'll meet up and let's hang. I was hoping to do some playing this year, but I spoke to Robert Keeley the other day, and he was like, Robert Keeley was like, oh, I'm not going. And then I spoke to Mason Marienthal from Vertex, and Mason's like, oh, I'm not going. In the past, those are the two I've usually played at their booths. Never played at the Ibanez booth. That's more kind of reserved, I guess, for George Benson and Steve Vai and that kind of level. Dude Economy says, how about a Steinberger for travel? Yeah, I'm not a fan of the headless guitars generally, but the Steinbergers are quite good with that kind of system. But I find that they're a certain kind of tone, and I think a Telecaster for me is, if I can only bring one guitar, it'd probably be a Telecaster. Because these things are bulletproof, right? And it sort of seems like it's one of those things that you could do. Even a Steinberger you probably wouldn't get away with on every flight in New Zealand. I know, it's really dumb. I have one of those Yamaha silent guitars, which is the one that has the sort of frame around here, and you can take it all apart and the whole thing breaks down. It's really small. It's like literally this long, like it stops there, and then this bit here pops off, and the whole thing folds down. It's about that wide and about that long. And I got stopped by Jetstar in New Zealand coming back to Wellington. They were like, nope, you can't take it on the plane. And I said to the woman at the counter, but this literally is within your dimensions of what I can carry on your aircraft, on as per your website. So surely I can, and I know it will fit. And she said, well, it's my decision, and I'm saying no. And I said, well, what's your name? And if it gets broken, it's on you. But then she also stopped the saxophone player behind me and the trumpet player behind me. It was Auckland Arts Festival. She stopped everyone. And so I was just like, oh man. So I think a Steinberger would probably give you the same problem here. Whereas I think if you could take the neck off this and, have, like I said, have threaded inserts with machine bolts, you could take it off quite easily. And I'm willing to try it. I'm also thinking too, when I build that guitar, I bought a guitar neck, and I'm going to actually build a guitar body to go on it, and I'm going to make it out of just parts I have lying around. I've got some old pickups sitting in a drawer. I've got a whole wiring harness out of my Ibanez AZ, or AZ, however you want to say that. I'm just going to try and use up parts I've got lying around from old guitars and whatever, and make a guitar out of that. Maybe that might be the one to take. I don't know. See if it actually works out. I'll probably screw it up and make an unplayable instrument. Even then, even unplayable instruments can be really cool, right? I've seen what is it? Oh, like some of those old Italian guitars and the old Japanese guitars. Some of them that were just rubbish. They didn't even play in tune or whatever. People are kind of getting into that now and going, well, it's a real character instrument, kind of like film camera. Film camera for photography has a certain look. Well, some of these guitars, like the old Harmonies or the Diplomats or the Italias or things like that, and some of them weren't good guitars. Joyos, I think they are. But they kind of had a funky kind of mid-range thing that was all their own, and that's why people are liking them. So hopefully it's coming through okay. Oh, that needs a clean out. I'm gonna play a tune. Why don't I do that? Let's leave that one there. Where is it? Ah, that's not what I want. I want slow blues in B flat. There we go. So this is from the Jam Tracks channel on YouTube. So I usually, when I just play along with these tracks, I'll probably get a copyright strike, but that's fair enough, it's their track. I just play along with them on YouTube. So if you look up slow blues guitar backing track Jam and B flat, the easiest one. Someone told me that I never link the videos below. I do when it's a normal video, but occasionally I forget, or sometimes it takes me a day to sort of get around to doing that. But generally the live streams, I'll just tell you what it is as we go. That's, because sometimes I don't remember what I did in the live stream. I'm going to go back and watch the whole hour to kind of figure it out. But yeah, this is Jam Tracks channel. This is slow blues guitar backing track at Jam and B flat. Hope you don't mind me playing a slow blues to start this off. It should be cool. That's enough of the slow blues. Yeah, that's. I like playing this. I like playing the blues. I don't know. I've always resonated with the blues. It's kind of one of those things that you end up going back to the music that you started on, you know. And I started on classical guitar, or like first really, but that was never really my thing. First real music I kind of got into was rock and roll and blues, you know. But that was the music that first, I'd say the first music that really captured me. It was like a thing, you know. So much great stuff in there. Let's swap over to. I haven't used the telly lately. I was thinking about this earlier too. I was watching that thing of Ariel Posen with on the That Pedal Show. I don't know if you all have seen that. It's really great. It's an episode you should definitely go and watch. But Ariel was talking about the Stratocaster as being like his kind of the most comfortable guitar for him, like the one that he kind of thinks, you know, it's the most ergonomic, and I think that's true, right? And I was even thinking about this guitar. See how I've kind of shaved off that to kind of take the hard edge off the telly, and I took a little bit off there just to kind of again take that hard edge off it. And tellies it sort of digs into your arm. Now some people love that. Some people really love the kind of, you know. But I was thinking the most ergonomic guitar is a Strat, isn't it? But then I'm not a big fan of the Strat bridge pickup. I'm just not. The Telecaster pickup is so much fatter and rounder and fuller, and I'd much rather, if I'm going to play a single coil bridge pickup, that's where I'm going. For me, the ultimate Strat pickup is to have a humbucker in there. That's kind of cool, right? But yeah, maybe this could do with some threaded inserts, would be kind of cool. Maybe actually I could do that with this guitar. That'd be kind of cool, because this is already quite ergonomic with the, it's got the body carves and what have you. It's got some, nice carves in this guitar. Maybe I could do it with this one and then take this away to Christchurch for that gig. Should be interesting. Yeah, let's have a look. Let me know which one you think of these two, Telly or the Talman. I should do to put some threaded inserts in and use as a travel guitar for when I go away. I'm not sure. They're both kind of cool, because this is kind of Telly-like, right? It's got string through, essentially Telly bridge. This has got a hotter bridge pickup. Kind of wants to rock it a little more. That's a Mr. Glenn Cruel Mistress, which is sort of a hotter Telecaster pickup. I went with that because it actually blends better with the mini humbucker. See if I go. It's kind of hard to hear on that sound. Let's go clean. You can hear a distinct difference, especially that neck to those two pickups. Because, I don't want the same sound. See what I mean? I kind of just fell into playing some blues again. old George Benson type thing, right? Instead of playing octaves, you know, you might go, George Benson would go, put the fifth in the middle. And then when he's to the top strings, instead of octaves like that, he'll go and put the fifth in the middle of that as well. But it kind of looks like that. So you get that. I mean the classic. You all know that tune? Cause there's yeah, cool. Tempting. Options. Not sure. Don't have to decide yet though. Jazz Festival's just around the corner in Wellington. We have the Wellington Jazz Festival coming up. I'm doing the double drummer thing with Darren and Stan. I'm really hoping Stan still makes it. Stan was, I don't know if I should say this, but maybe I will. He was riding his bike the other day and someone hit him on his bike. I know. It's a bit scary. He's okay as far as I can understand, but you know, being a drummer and arms, he had a gig last night and was just going to see how he was doing. So I really hope he can come down and do that, but I totally understand if he can't. You know what I mean? You gotta, that kind of stuff is a bit scary. So yeah. But yeah, all going well. It'll be Stan and Darren, so killer drummers. I mean, I'm so lucky to get to play with those guys. Seriously happening drumming, you know. And then Leo's playing keyboards, and I love playing with Leo. You know, just knows a million tunes. And he's only 25 or something, and he just knows so many tunes. It's great. Which is part of my gig, like, right? I kind of, when I'm playing the double drummer thing, we never discuss what we're going to do. We never rehearse. I start playing something, and then we go into whatever. And I got to try and figure out how to play whatever tune I hear in that particular key, and that's where it goes. And then it goes into that, and then maybe I'll start something else. We have some stuff we kind of do regularly, like Stevie Wonder tunes like that I know we all know, and they'll sort of be at the forefront. But there's no real plan with it. It's totally improvised, right? And that's kind of the thing, like not improvising in a jazz sense, but improvising as in playing this funky groove music. But I had an idea for a new tune I was going to spring at the guys. It goes like this, you might know it. Anyone know what it is? Do you know what it is? Yeah, so I thought I might spring that on the guys. But that's the sort of thing that we do. And one tune that we've played a few times now is Lowrider. And Lowrider has this riff. Maybe I've even take this guitar. I've been actually thinking maybe I will take this guitar. Because it's really working now with these, really working well now with these new pickups and would just be so great if you could carry it on the plane. You know what I mean? Then when I get to the other end to do this gig, I'm not having to deal with a flight case and kind of all that carry on. I'd rather just have my gig bag, walk off the plane, then go to the gig. Like a violinist would, right? Violinists get on the plane, they put their instrument up the top, and they just get on with it. It always fits, unless people are kind of selfish, and you do get a bit of that. I see people getting on airplanes, and they have like a roller suitcase, they have a backpack on their back, they have their purse, and then they have a laptop bag, and I'm like, I can't bring my guitar, but you can bring four items. Right? You see that a bit, but... Sorry, I don't mean to rant, people. Maybe I should just bring this, I don't know. We'll see. Don't have to decide just yet. I mean, whatever guitar I bring doesn't really matter, really. To me it matters, but nobody else it really does. We think it does in our own minds. We think, oh yeah, really matters what I play. Like, if I bring the Telecaster, it doesn't. It's like, what matters is what are you going to do with the thing when you get there, you know what I mean? If you come in and you kind of throw down and you play hard and you really play some good shit, then people don't really care what guitar you play. I know musicians do. They're like, it's funny, I remember at one time turning up with my John Scofield guitar to a gig, and someone said to me, when are you going to play a real guitar? Oh, right, okay, whatever. It just doesn't matter, right? And if you want to test that, ask the singer what type of guitar you play. You know, unless it's a singer who plays guitar, that's different. But I mean, just a singer, you know, someone who, you know, maybe owns a microphone and is kind of, you know, doing their thing. Ask them what type of guitar you play. Ask them what pedals you have, if they've even noticed, or what brand of amp you know. That's just, it doesn't matter, right? And to general audience, it doesn't matter either. They just care if they like the music or not. Guitar players are a funny bunch, though, aren't we? We care. I totally do. I love gear. That's my favorite kind of guitar tone there, that sort of thing, where you have, it's clean if you play light, and then you get breakup if you hit it hard. Let's change that tempo, that's too fast. No, that won't work. Huh, how do I edit that? Let's do that. Yeah, caught. I didn't set up the tap tempo properly. So thank you. Really like your slow blues solo. Can you explain some of the material used for the faster runs? Yeah, sure. I'm always like, with blues, I always find that it's one of those things where you kind of have to set it up first, right? So the first thing to do is get into this kind of territory. You don't have to play this exact thing, but this sort of territory. This sort of stuff, right? You got to kind of establish the blues vocabulary, the blues kind of thing. But then at some point, for me, and it's just me, I like to take the listener somewhere else. So I might go something like. So there, I just went chromatically from the third to the fifth, 2 chord tones, and I went. More of a jazz lick, but it's I'm still kind of making it what Robin Ford plays like. So I put something like that in just to create a little bit more interest, right? Because the thing is, if you start to get too predictable, that's when people switch off. They just kind of go, they know what you're going to do, right? But if they don't know what you're going to do, and there's a little bit of thing, you know, and sometimes it just kind of hit crazy stuff. something like that. That's kind of like those things which are just sort of a little bit just throwing ideas out there and seeing where they go. So that was really just E flat mixolydian. So I'm also thinking, like I'll start typically on a slower blues, just playing like pentatonic and blues scale and sort of establishing that blues language, and then I start to play changes a little more as it goes along and put more color in and more chromaticism and this sort of stuff, with the idea of building intensity so it goes somewhere. Because nothing worse than it just kind of sitting there and not going anywhere and doing anything, right? The music, especially on a slow blues, right? One of my favorites of playing slow blues, if you want to check out someone who's killer at it, is Freddie King. Go and check out Freddie King. Just amazing. Hey, Jeffrey. Sometimes too, I'll kind of hit stuff like that. Sometimes too, just wish I could change the tempo of that delay. I haven't said this is a different sound than what I normally use, and I kind of been messing with it a little bit, trying a few different amps, just experimenting a little. And there I'm just, whatever I'm doing on the F7 chord, I just move the same thing down to E flat, and then resolve. I really like using arpeggios too, or arpeggios as Americans would say. For me, arpeggios are one of those things that they spell a chord symbol out. Do you know what I mean? So to me, it's like when you're spelling chord symbols, it's kind of a jazz thing, right? To spell chord changes more so than a blues thing. But if you play it with blues inflection, now it's like kind of that Robin Ford thing where it's blues but sophisticated, right? Play it all along the watchtower, bro. I would if I knew it. I mean, I know. Something like that, isn't it? Oh, Jimmy's tuned down a step though. It was actually a Bob Dylan tune. Did you know that? That Bob Dylan actually wrote All Along the Watchtower. I believe so. And there was an interview with Bob Dylan, and they said to him, "What do you think of the Jimi Hendrix version?" He said, "I love it. It's way better than mine." Or something to that effect. I always thought that was great. He acknowledged that Jimmy kind of took that song and ran with it and made it incredible, right? And now for me, All Along the Watchtower is a Hendrix tune, right? I loved Jimmy, but yeah, I've never actually learned that tune. I don't know why. For some reason, it's kind of one I've skipped. But you've reminded me that I should go and learn it, so I will. The ones I do play regularly, though, my favorite Hendrix tune, bar none, is... Yeah, that's my favorite. Wind Cries Mary. Just this perfection. Perfection in the guitar solo, the vocal works, everything about that song is just amazing. Deuteronomy says, thanks for the blues improv info. No problem. I remember a interview a well-known guitar player who said that if you can play virtually any note, A well-known guitar player who said that you can play virtually any set of notes if your phrasing is confident. I totally agree. The phrasing is the thing that people follow, right? If your idea has the right kind of shape and flow about it, ideas do, then any note works, right? I have to sort that delay. It's driving me nuts. Where would that be coming out on? It's not that page. I know what I did wrong. Okay. I haven't set up a switch for that. Okay, we'll go with that delay. But you see, the point I was making is that you can make any note kind of work if you know how to phrase. And when I played that little idea before, I basically played every note there is, the whole chromatic notes, all of them between there and there, and you can make it work, right? Luke says, sick mate Hendrix is mind-blowing. Yeah, I agree. There was a while there where I was a teenager where I got right into Hendrix's playing. I remember a friend of mine down the road, he was into Hendrix too, and we kind of spoke about that, and he kind of showed me some stuff, and we learned how to do various songs. But I was kind of at the same time a little bit apprehensive about learning to play too much Hendrix. I find that often once I learn to play a song, I don't always like it as much afterwards, because I can kind of picture how it works on the guitar while it's going, and I can't just enjoy the song for what it is. So I kind of didn't really, and then later on I just went, oh screw it, I'm just going to learn a bunch of them. So I did, because they're, I mean, he was probably the greatest rock guitar player to ever live, right? I saw a singer, Paul McCartney, the other day that was doing the rounds, and it was a video, and they said to him, who's your favorite guitar player? And he says, oh, it has to be Jimi Hendrix, right? Right? The whole tuning to E flat thing is cool too. It's funny that sound there. I was just kind of, while I was playing that, I was thinking it's kind of quite mid-range forward, right? Whereas the clean sound, I like the clean sound to kind of be sparkly, clear, not too big, but big enough. The sound is kind of more set up for the P90 equipped PRS, It's a little brighter with the telly. Still works though. Can you play Little Wing? Yeah, there's a couple of versions of Little Wing from gigs. You should go and check them out on my channel. This is with Brannigan Carr singing. Brannigan is one of my favorite New Zealand singers. He's amazing. Brannigan just has so much soul in his so much soul in his voice and his musicality, I remember when we were growing up, they used to call Brannigan the James Brown of New Zealand. And so I guess that's why we always connected, because I like the funk music too. He's got so much soul. But can you play Little Wing? Yeah. But yeah, there's a couple of, like I said, there's a couple of those on my YouTube channel. A little different than you've probably heard Little Wing before. That was something that I just realized why that harmonic didn't work. I was talking to my buddy Warren Mendonça the other night. We do this podcast. It's on Warren's channel, which is Blackstrap Blues. And he asked about the neck pickup on this guitar and if you can play the 5th fret harmonics. They don't sound, right? Just like a Strat. And what it was is he mentioned this, and I'd never thought about this before, so I'll share it with you all. The guitar can be divided up into 4. 12 is kind of halfway, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 harmonic points, right? There, and the 4th one lands right on where a P90 pickup is. So he said on a Strat, on the neck pickup, you don't get those harmonics at the 5th fret, but go to the bridge pickup. There you go, neck. They don't exist. Because the neck pickup is cancelling it. And I played those notes and I went, there it is, that's right. And I thought I should share that with you. It's such a cool idea, cool thing. I never thought about the harmonic point kind of falling there. There's the 5th fret that doesn't go again, huh? I always wondered why that was. Unplug that 5th fret. And of course you get noisy point P90s. It's what you get. Interesting thing is if you get that, can you hear it changing? Just like a Strat. Luke says, yeah, Hendrix is the GOAT. Yeah, I'd agree, but in terms of the rock guitar thing. But Page and Clapton deserve honourable mentions too. Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, for me, Clapton, I liked really the young Eric Clapton when he was with Cream. that sort of stuff. The Cream stuff was probably my favourite of Eric Clapton's. He did do some really good stuff afterwards as well. I didn't particularly like a lot of the pop stuff. Some of it was okay, you know. You Look Wonderful Tonight and things like that was kind of pretty cheesy. Tears in Heaven was alright, you know, sad reason for writing that song. But I actually got booked to play a gig with Eric Clapton. He was playing the Mission Estate concert here in New Zealand, and I just finished the concert. I played with Chris De Burgh, who wrote that song Lady in Red and Don't Pay the Ferryman were his big hits. And I was supposed to play with Olivia Newton-John as well, but she ended up bringing her guitar player, who was Andy Timmins. So that was when I first met Andy, so I was quite happy about that. I mean, I'd love to have played with Olivia, but I got to meet and hang with Andy, and he's such a beautiful human being and plays his ass off. Such a good player. So that was a treat for me to get to hear him and meet him. But I was at the airport afterwards, and the guy who was putting the whole event on came up to me afterwards and shook my hand and said, "Man, you play great." And well, that, funny enough, I was playing this guitar. There's a video on my YouTube channel, a really early one of that gig, of the Chris De Burgh gig. There's only one little clip because it was kind of before cell phones were doing all that stuff. But nonetheless, I was at the airport, and the guy the big chief promoter of the whole thing was putting it on. Came and shook my hand, and he said, "I want you to book out next year because I'm bringing a guitar player over." He goes, "I can't tell you who it is, but I want you to do the gig." Sure, you know. He said big name guitarist, but didn't know who it was. And then later on, he emailed and said, "Oh, it's Eric Clapton." I was like, "Wow, yeah, that'll be cool to play a gig with Eric Clapton." Right? How am I going to do with that? I'm sure I'll do my thing. That's all I can do. But he ended up bringing his band. But I was actually really glad because the whole gig got messy, apparently. Yeah, it was one of those things. And then the following year was Sting, and I also got booked for that gig with the orchestra, and then Sting ended up bringing his band as well. Or at least talked to. It wasn't booked. So play another tune. Let's have a look. What do we got here? Playlist. There we go. Yeah, here's one. This is one I played before. This is it says Fusion Ballad backing track in B minor, 121 beats per minute. So that's quite a specific beat per minute, not 120, 121. There was once upon a time 120 beats per minute was seen as a bad thing. I guess 60 beats per minute is your heart cycle. Is that how it works? And so they thought it was twice of your heart, and there was some kind of issue with that. I remember reading about it somewhere, or some kind of rubbish thinking like that, and it's long gone. But anyway, maybe that's the reason for 121. But this is by some Russian name, and there's no way I'm going to be able to explain it. But anyway, it's Fusion Ballad, backing track, B minor. It's essentially this: G major, D over F sharp, G major, and then B minor. Right. And at one point it goes to F major as well. Let's go. Yeah, so that's a fun track. As I said, fusion ballad, backing track, B minor, 121 beat per minute. Pretty cool. Luke says, what do you think of George Harrison, bro? Do you think he's in the top 10 best guitarists of all time? I would say no. And the reason I say that is that I don't, for me, the thing I love about George Harrison, don't get me wrong, I love his playing. I think he's great. To me, George Harrison was, the beauty of what he did was worked within the Beatles, right? I never like best of kind of comp things anyway. Do you know what I mean? Who's to say that, I don't know, Steve Vai is better than Joe Satriani? It's just an opinion, isn't it, right? So that's a kind of, so for me, top 10 best guitarists of all time thing is kind of, I don't know, that would just be my opinion on the people I like rather than, you know, quantifiable fact. But for me, it's like, George Harrison to me is like, it's a part of the Beatles thing more than, like, to me it kind of goes beyond the guitar, right, what he does. It's just, it's the music making process. Whereas someone like Jimi Hendrix, for me, is like, you know, I hold him as the top kind of pinnacle of rock guitar because he is just someone who changed the game with it, right? And specifically as a guitar player, not as a supporting a singer or supporting, although he did support his own voice, but really it's like the key feature of Jimi Hendrix's music for me is the songs and the guitar playing. And the vocal, you know, he's a reasonable vocalist, but, you know, it wasn't like, no, I wouldn't put him in the category of like someone like an Aretha Franklin or a Shaka Khan. But yeah, for me, it's George Harrison is like a songwritery type guy. You know, it's kind of that's how I see it, and he does that perfectly. Like it's, yeah, that's some of the most important guitar parts in those songs. But yeah, I mean, top 10. If I was to select my top 10, if I had to, gee, I don't know. Where do we start? It would change every day. Right, people that I would be in my top 10 today would probably be different tomorrow. But certain people always seem to come up. I mean, Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, I love. Hendrix, always, you know. I won't go into the jazz guys, I'll just go with rock guys. Who else is there? Michael Landau, I always seem to go back to Michael Landau. I really like Tom Bukovac's playing of the more modern players around now. People say, oh, you know, guitar was better back in their day or whatever. Like some of the stuff I hear Tom Bukovac does, it's stunning, you know. And to be honest, I'm actually not that impressed by a lot of guitar things nowadays. A lot of I just don't care about how technically hard something is. I really don't. It doesn't. It's not to me the most important factor at all. It's not even like. It doesn't even register on my kind of scale of what matters most. To me, it's like, does it fit the song? Does it fit the music? Does it serve the music? Do I feel something emotionally about it? You know, I hear Tom Bukovac play, and sometimes it's like, man, he just about brings me to tears. You know, and sometimes even with just the simplest of things, something that you know I probably could have done when I was 15, but I wouldn't have done it nearly as good. And that's the thing that takes a lifetime. I like Alan Holdsworth's playing too. I mean, the thing I like about Alan Holdsworth is nobody sounds like him. Like, absolutely nobody. He's probably the most truly original guitar player of all time. I find, for me, Alan Holdsworth, I like him in small doses because it is pretty full-on music, very chromatic. He's fantastic. But yeah, I find that it's not music that in terms of the musical content of it that I'm drawn to, and it's definitely not a flavor of my playing that I'm that interested in trying to do, but I totally respect it and I like it. Luke says, I currently think Frusciante is the best guitarist in the world. What do you think of him? I think he's okay. I think he suits the Chili Peppers. I find him sometimes quite sloppy, but then that band is kind of a little bit like that. You know, the way Chad Smith plays is not a ultra precise thing. It's more a feel. It's a little bit sloppy and loose, but that gives it a kind of a funky thing. Kind of like the Rolling Stones, right? Imagine if the Rolling Stones were a really tight band that was perfectly in tune. It doesn't give him the mojo, but no, he's okay. I mean, I like some of the riffs that he's come up with. It's the completely wrong sound for that. kind of cool. And Under the Bridge, I thought Under the Bridge had some really interesting things. I'm gonna get a copyright strike for this now. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be in my top 10, not for sure. He probably wouldn't even make my top 50 if I'm absolutely honest. But I like his work with the Chili Peppers. I like some of the riffs he's come up with. Yeah, sure. But in terms of guitar players, there's people I'd much rather hear. Michael Landau for me any day of the week. All kinds of people. Who else is there that I really like? You know, Andy Timmons. I'd rather listen to Andy Timmons than John Frusciante. Sorry. I know other people might feel differently. And that's a beautiful thing with music. There's no right or wrong. It's just we all like what we like. You know. But, you know, respect it. Respect his playing totally. I saw him play actually at in Auckland, Western Springs with the Chili Peppers. And he sounded great. And they were really cool. It was such a good gig. I don't know who that is. I've recently discovered Terje. Terje, is that how you'd say that? Rypdal. Don't know who that is. Sorry. From Norway. Okay. I thought it might have been a Middle Eastern name, but now that you say that, that makes sense. There's some badass European players out there that people kind of never really heard of. I mean, the French guitar players, you have Sylvain Luc. Sylvain Luc is unbelievable. Really, I was really sad when I heard that he passed. But I got a bunch of his albums, and Sylvain Luc's incredible. Borelli Lagreen, heaps of people. I've never heard about this dude. No, 70s stuff. Can you please play Hotel California? Yeah, I can do that. It's not going to sound right without the capo thing. You got to really do that, but wait for the copyright notice. Where's it gone? Yeah, I was trying to position myself so I wasn't getting feedback. So Donald Duck says, "Could you play Love Nan Wati?" Don't know who that is. Sorry. Solo, please. I did. Hopefully you like that. Next, Metallica, Master of Puppets. Appreciate it, man. You deserve a sub. Oh, thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed already, please do, folks. I don't really know Master of Puppets. I remember learning like some of that stuff back in the day. I know a few Metallica things like yeah, lots of noise. It's probably my dodgy soldering. Usually I'd pull that back with the volume pedal, but I haven't got the volume pedal set up, so it's a bit slow. I'm trying to think, what have I got Metallica wise I can play? What is that song? Is that Master of Puppets? Whatever that one was, I remember learning that back in the day. Enter Sandman, yep, I can do that. So everybody plays Enter Sandman wrong, right? I learned it when I was about 15 years old or so, and I went... Get that volume right. I did that like everyone else. It really needs the chorus too. It's not how he plays it. It's actually played with the fourth finger and the second finger. Because you need that note there to ring. It doesn't sound the same if you go. There's this guy who breaks down a video and he shows James Hetfield playing it on about 10 different concerts using that fingering, and I was like, it's doing it wrong all that time. So yeah, Enter Sandman. And of course there's all the other blah, 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 builds up. Kind of remember how to play all this stuff, right? I used to know a lot of Metallica stuff actually. I remember learning what's that called? Luke says, I have a cousin that lives in Sydney and he is an amazing guitarist. We used to have a band a decade ago. I respect him a lot musically, and his favourite guitar player is Stevie Ray Vaughan. Oh, cool. Sydney's just across the ditch from New Zealand. Actually, it's a 3-hour flight, but I don't get there nearly enough. I should go to Sydney more often. I was last there in 2019, and it's 5 years ago, considering it's so close. Maybe some guitar company or something might be into bringing me over to come and do some workshops or clinics or stuff. I'd be into it. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's funny, I haven't, like I mentioned earlier, if you've just joined me, I've been away for the last 3 days. We were away at a family event, a five-year-old's birthday party for my cousin's boy. So I haven't played this weekend, and certain things are feeling rusty. It's funny how quick it comes back though, right? You just kind of spend a bit of time with the instrument, and before you know it, you can do all the things you were doing before. So, guess what I'm doing after the live stream tonight? Working on my shitty ass playing till it comes back. A bit noisy, this guitar. It's not as noisy as the P90 guitar though. Something about having the bigger magnet seems to have a bigger space. I really do like that sound though. I mean, I don't know how you all feel about it, but AC/DC Back in Black. Is it? Is Back in Black this one? Whatever it is. No, I've never learnt that solo. My favourite AC/DC song though is yeah, funny. I'm trying. You're all calling all these songs that I kind of played since I haven't played for a long time. I did play Sweet Child of Mine earlier today though. I don't know why, but I kind of felt like playing Sweet Child of Mine. I feel like I should grab my Les Paul to do this, but seeing as I got the telly handy, I'll do that. This theory that Slash is actually a bit more of a country player than most people think, right? And do that song in D though, 'cause that's how he played it, but detuned. I mean, those all sound like country guitar parts. Listen to the verse of that song. I mean, the other one too. Yeah, so I did actually see your message, Rod. Yeah, I'm not a fan of relic guitars, to be honest. I'm really not. I get that some people think that guitars that are relic feel a certain way, but to me, if you didn't, the guitar didn't earn it, it just feels fake to me. I mean, it's just my opinion. I know some people absolutely love them. I mean, look at Rhett Scholl, right? I know that Rhett Scholl's like right into relic guitars and that kind of his thing. all of the scars on this guitar, it earned. Like all this stuff around here. This was my daughter's hand. I got her to draw her hand on it when she was 4. So that one day I'm going to give this to her. The idea of that being that every time I'm on a shitty gig with this guitar, it reminds me of why I'm doing it. But this I did because it was for practical reasons, because of, you know, the I'm just getting too hard. The edge being too hard. But if we look at this guitar, which was kind of my main guitar for a number of years, I did that, right? That hit on a chair. I remember when I was picking it up and it kind of scraped along a chair, and it was actually kind of sharp, so I just kind of smoothed it over a little bit. But I did that. The first mark on this guitar it got was this one, and that was like day one, first gig I took it to. It got this, and it looks like something's actually been stabbed in it. So I wondered if someone did it out of spite, because it kind of felt like that. It was like, oh, come on. But then it was like, oh, well, now it's marked, whatever. It's got a mark there. You know, these are all things that this guitar earned. You know, it's like, to me, it's not trying to fake that you earned those marks and scars and things on the guitar. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's Oh, sorry. I should have muted that before I did that. You think I've only just started playing. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, relic needs to be earned, in my opinion. I do like when manufacturers do make guitars feel a certain way, but not relic. Like I like the rounded fingerboard edges. I do that with all my guitars anyway. When I got the Paul Reed Smith, not this one earned all its scars. Even that scar there was like, it got a big chip in it, so I just smoothed it out again because it kept catching on clothing. The neck was actually sanded before I got it. All of that fingerboard wear is all me. You know, you play it heaps, it happens. And to me, it's like this kind of an honest thing. So some guy says, I have a 90s American Tele with a hip shot bridge on it. Nice. That'd be cool. Is the hip shot bridge? What's a hip shot bridge? I was thinking of the hip shot tuner. Is that what it's called? You know, the drop D thing where you kind of, like bass players have that little thing. That would be kind of cool. But I'm not sure what you mean by bridge. Oh, I see. B bender, G bender, and drop and toggle, drop D and drop D toggle. That's cool. That would actually be really useful to have drop D really handy on your guitar. I'm gonna have to go in a minute, folks, I'm afraid. I usually try to keep these to about an hour, and I'm now at 71 minutes. I can see that because they take forever for YouTube to upload, and some people can't obviously watch this as it happened, you know, because of the time differences with New Zealand. So I like to try and keep it to an hour, and then but I don't have any channel sponsors. There's none of that kind of stuff. So if you want to do something to support the channel, listen to my album. It's free on Bandcamp. It's not going to cost you anything. So just go over there, get a copy of this. Bandcamp. I like Bandcamp because you can get good quality. A lot of the download sites or Spotify or whatever suck. So don't go there. Go to Bandcamp. This is inside of the album. If you live in New Zealand, come and get it. I'll give you a CD. Oh, there you go. See, I'm throwing them away. But listen to the album. That's the main thing I want. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to have to split, people. Like I said, I usually try and keep this to an hour. Hey, Tim. Thanks so much for watching, man. I appreciate it. And I'll be back. I'm here every Sunday for this. I try and do it about this time on a Sunday night, depending if I've got gigs on. Should be good for next week. And otherwise, I'll be back into my regular rotation of videos every day on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe, because it's freaking awesome that you're here. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Oh, sorry. Luke says, I'm in Brazil right now. It's 5:10 a.m. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for tuning in first thing in the morning. I gotta go. I'll catch you soon. Cheers.